Jacobson of AskMoses.com. I always thought that that was just a rumor. I never really knew that there was AskMoses.com. I didn't know it was real. Can I ask you anything?
Online?
What do you think about this Bernie Madoff thing?
We don't deal with in person.
Oh, no. Oh, you can't answer my questions in person? I have to tweet you?
That's technology. Yeah.
All right, well, get your BlackBerry ready. Here comes my question. No, seriously, we're in the strategy room. We're sitting 2 feet apart. Come on. Rabbi, what do you think of Bernie Madoff?
Well, as a Jew and as a rabbi, obviously I share the outrage, especially sitting with the victim and so many other victims. But even more embarrassing for me personally is the fact that the Jewish people have always been the beacon of morality. The Bible, Moses, Abraham. So it's one thing if you're not doing anything, you're neutral. But to go ahead and essentially desecrate the tradition that this country is based on, morality, in God we trust, which is etched on every coin and every currency. So for a Jew, particularly, it's extremely insulting, embarrassing. I mean, there are no words to be stated, especially we're going through this economic turndown. So that's just my gut reaction. I mean,
it's a very interesting perspective, because I know one of the facilities, correctional facilities, that was talked about possibly for Madoff is in upstate New York in the Catskills, and it is run primarily by ultra-Orthodox Jews. And, you know, we had K.T. McFarland here in the strategy room yesterday. One of our guests said she could see a situation if Madoff ended up there having protests literally on a daily basis for the rest of his life from Jews in the community. It really is an interesting sort of twist to the story. Had you before this morning met one of the victims?
I met, yes, I did actually.
Well, Rabbi Jacobson, please meet Larry Leaf.
Nice to meet you.
I wish it would have been under better circumstances.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Larry, tell us a little bit about what happened with you. And first of all, did you ever meet Bernie Madoff? You never met him. No. And how much money did you give him?
He had $8 million.
You gave a man you'd never seen $8 million.
Well, I gave him, I started with him 30 years ago. I started with my pension and profit sharing plan from the company I worked for, sold the business, rolled that over, took the money from the business, gave it to him. Basically, I worked 40 years for Bernie Madoff and not for myself.
Wow. I see the tears in your eyes. This never gets any easier, does it?
Well, I sit here and I'm just in amazement that this is America. I can't believe that this could happen in this country. We had the signs, we had the warnings, we had the letters. The government had all the ammunition 12 years ago. They could have saved my life. They chose not to.
And you think the FCC's investigation finding that there was nothing untoward going on was what?
Well, like Harry McCaffrey said, we have a bunch of I'm not going to use the word idiots, but people that don't know what they're doing, and the SEC doing investigations. This country spends so much money on the wrong things, and when are we going to realize that we need to spend our money on protecting the citizens and not protecting these large companies that you give them the money and they buy an airplane, you give them the money and they go to Las Vegas? What about the citizens? What has happened where we've lost touch with Larry Leaf and probably going to turn out to be about 40,000 victims? Because although Madoff had 10,000 of his own customers, some of those customers were feeder funds, which had thousands of customers.
Well, now that's a number I hadn't heard before, potentially 40,000 victims.
Yeah, I think it actually could be more. It's hard because a lot of people are ashamed that they were so stupid, and I say to everybody, that is not the case. You weren't stupid. I'm a smart guy. I'm a self-made man. I did all the due diligence. I did everything right. This was one of the most prestigious men on Wall Street. The people that didn't do the due diligence is the United States government, and I personally am going to hold them accountable at all levels, and that's my life's work now.
So your life's work is to hold the government accountable.
Yes.
And what do you hope to accomplish with that? Because from what I understand, the SEC, outside of some hearings and so on and so forth, is pretty much untouchable.
I'm not interested in the SEC, and at this point I'm really not interested in Congress or Senate.
So when you say government, who do you mean?
The President of the United States.
You're going to go after...
I'm not going after him. I want to meet with him. I just want to play him a 7-minute video, and then I want to look him in the eyes, and I want him to tell me that he's not going to help us. 7 minutes.
What's on your 7-minute video?
It's a group of videos that was taken by Vanity Fair, Steve Wilkes.
Of all the victims.
Of all the victims.
Yeah.
And also Rabbi Gelman from Long Island is on that. He ended the 7 videos with saying, you know, Bernie Madoff used to, if you were in, you were in. If you were out, you were out.
Is it available for viewing?
Yes, at VanityFair.com. And he says, what's the definition of in and out? And he said the definition of in is to be kind. And the definition of out are people that aren't. And really, I look at government and I say, when are you going to be kind? This story, although it's huge now, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. The trustee for the Madoff business is going to sue me and everybody else, as he claims, for clawback. He's going to devastate the victims.
You pulled out money as well through the years?
I paid it to the IRS. If I could claw back the IRS, I would have more money than I lost. I've been paying taxes for 25 years.
Taxes on money now that you don't have.
I never made.
That's an interesting
That's
point.
amazing.
Yeah.
But people realize, well, did you pay taxes on your dividends and the gains? Well, whether you take the money out of your account or not, you have to pay taxes on it.
On the dividends and the gains.
And gains, too.
Right, but I thought that
all the
principal
income that he generated falsely was short-term, so everything went on income. So I was paying, you know, most of my money was going to the IRS.
So, I mean,
Go ahead.
How could they not...
Well, the law is the law, you know, as the trustee is